Hello, fellow language nerds. How are you today? I am fantastic. I hope you are fantastic. I am coming to you live looking like a hot mess. Well, not live, recorded. I'm coming to you recorded looking like a hot mess on the heels of a very awesome concert yesterday. And one of those spontaneous feels like recording a video and is too lazy to put on makeup and, make presentable and all that. So here we are, the usual. Today, I would like to tell you the secret, the real actual secret to learning a language. Any language, really. Just any, all of them. Many people claim to know the secret, but I have the actual secret. I will elucidate. The secret to learning any language is kind of stupid. You're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but the actual secret is that the secret is different for everyone. Hear me out. Here's why. I know this seems a little bit obvious, but we're all individuals. We all function differently. We have different preferences. We come from different environments. We have different time demands. We are of different ages. We have experienced different things. All of that stuff. There's a lot of difference here going on. Now, there is quite a bit of evidence, scientific evidence, that is, that language is processed pretty much the same in every human. And I do believe that there is a method of language learning that is superior to all other language methods, but it still won't guarantee you that you will be able to learn a language with this method. The reason for this is that we're all different, like I just said. The true secret to learning any language is that you have to find out what your method is. You have to find out what the thing is that works for you. You have to make the effort and do the experimentation and try and fail a bunch of things until you find something that makes you keep at it, that makes you not give up, because that really is the only thing that you need to learn language. You just keep going, right? And when you get stuck, you try and change something in order to then progress again. So basically you have to find your own method. And I'm sorry, I know we all want to find that perfect way, like the one way where we can just follow the step-by-step tutorial to then become fluent or learn anything really. But I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I really am, but it doesn't exist. You have to make it yourself. You have to start. You have to start first of all, find a thing, try it out. If it doesn't work, change it. Don't stubbornly stick to something that somebody else has told you because they were successful learning a language with this method. This doesn't mean that you will be, because it doesn't mean that you and the method will fit. Does this make sense? Am I approaching comprehension here? Basically, you have to do Frankensteining. You have to read up on how to learn languages, do some research, find out some sciencey things, find out what works for other people, listen to a bunch of language advice while you're already starting to learn a language. Like don't do what I did and a lot of us do and just watch a ton of videos about how to learn a language instead of actually learning the language. Like do start learning. But do watch those things as well, or read up on those things as well. And then you cherry pick, right? You try out different things. And the things that you find, the methods that you find that you enjoy the most and that keep you going, that make you excited and interested in continuing with your language, those are the things that you keep. Those are the things that you cherry pick and that you put into your own method. Because if you enjoy the process, and I'm not talking about we all have days where we hate our life and we don't really want to do the language thing. That's normal, okay? I'm not saying that it should be fun always. That is a myth. That's nothing you ever learn will always be fun. But the things that you just kind of find yourself fascinated by and enjoying doing over and over, that keep you coming back, those are the important bits that you need to collect and integrate into your own language learning method, because that is going to get you to the goal. Because what's going to get you to the goal is keep on going with the learning and progressing And at some point, you will be at a point where suddenly you speak the language. Those of us who learn a lot of languages or who have had experience in this know that, the learning never stops. You're never truly perfect at any language, even your native language. You keep learning your entire life. But, you will be at a point that is generally considered fluency. But let me give you a little bit of a more concrete example to kind of illustrate what I mean using my own language journey. So I am really, really into input-based learning that is based on Stephen Krashen's second language acquisition hypothesis. Look it up. It is in my opinion, only true way to learn a language. But even within those principles, the actual method that you use can differ quite drastically depending on the person. You can, the only thing that matters is that you get input. So to illustrate this, some of you might know of this organization called Refold. It's on refold.la. Please visit their website. They're really good. It is, at the moment, to my knowledge, the best guide an introduction into immersion learning. So learning via input that is out there. They have a guide on their website and everything. I am not affiliated with them yet, but please go visit them and check it out if you're interested in the method. But they have a very specific system that can help you get started, but it's not for everyone. So I do use immersion learning, but for example, what Refold says is to use spaced repetition systems. In their case, Anki, because it's easily available and there's lots of tutorials out there. Anyway, so in my Korean journey, I did use Anki in the beginning to get sort of the most basic vocabulary in, and spaced repetition systems are quite good for that. So spaced repetition systems, for those of you who don't know, they're basically flashcards, online flashcards that are based on an algorithm that makes you revise the information that you learn at a very specific, ever-increasing increment of time. It's using sciencey things, basically the forgetting curve. Your brain works in a way where you're supposed to revise stuff just before you forget it, and that time frame is roughly the same for humans overall. So spaced repetition systems have that kind of algorithm where they show you the flashcard around the time where most people would be about to forget it, and that's when you remember it. And so it puts the information from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. That's the theory anyway. I hate Anki with a passion. I hate spaced repetition systems. I dislike making my own cards. If I use them, I use pre-made decks. In my Korean journey, I did start using Anki for the first kind of I think for the first half year or so even, I forced myself, even though I really hated it. And Refold also recommends that during your language journey, you take sentences out of your immersion. +1 sentences, they're called. So they're basically sentences where you understand everything except for one word. And the way you learn vocabulary is by taking those sentences from stuff that you've immersed with, so from stuff that you have found and watched and listened and read to yourself, and put them into your spaced repetition system and add them to your daily reps. So that way the new vocabulary that you encounter, in theory, goes into your long-term memory much faster than if you were not to use spaced repetition systems. Now the thing is, I don't do that because I hate Anki. I hate it. I don't want to do it. It makes me not want to learn my language at all. I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to make my own cards. It takes way too much time. It's like, I know there's ways to make it easier with techie whatever things. I'm a technical idiot, which is hilarious and ironic because I'm a 3D animator, but I don't want it. I don't like it. I dropped Anki as soon as I could. Now, did that damage my language learning? No, it did not. Because Anki, like everything else, is just a tool that's supposed to help you. But if you hate the tool to the point where it makes you not want to learn your language, then drop the damn tool. It's fine. I know a lot of the Refold boys who are really into the techie stuff and they're amazing. It's really cool. They're writing all these tools. Yeah, it's cool. They're really into it. And I know people who still use Anki and make cards well, like years into their journey, and they love it and it works for them, and that is cool. But you can absolutely drop Anki. It's fine. This is what I mean. Has it hurt my language journey? No, it hasn't. I'm still acquiring Korean. Lots of it. My main input method is listening, which arguably is kind of the oldest way to do it, because people who can't read or write, or before there was any writing, that is how you would learn any language. So no, you don't need those tools in order to learn a language. So I like to listen a lot because I'm ADHD as fuck and I'm always all over the place. I like to do a thing at the same time as I'm immersing. And I have been progressing just fine. Just fine. You do not need Anki in order to progress in your immersion journey. Right, that got way out of hand and ended up in a rant. But basically what I'm trying to say is that if you follow a method, any method, and there are parts of it that you don't like and they're not doing it for you and they're actually counterproductive because they make it so much not fun that it's kind of tipping the balance into keeping you from coming back to learning a language because it's so uncomfortable, don't do it. Don't kick it. It doesn't matter. It's your language journey. You're building your own. That is the secret ingredient, right? That is the secret sauce. You have to build your own secret sauce. You have to find the thing that works the best for you. Similarly, in the immersion thing, a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't bother with grammar. Yeah, but there's a lot of people who enjoy looking at grammar, believe it or not. I actually looked at quite a bit of Korean grammar because I find it fascinating. I don't anymore because I kind of lost interest, but you know, it's fine. Do what you want. It's okay. Anything that has you engaging with your language and immersing in your language, being with your language is good. It doesn't matter. If you enjoy doing exercises, do exercises. I don't. I hate it. You don't need to, because scientifically, you don't need to do exercises in order to learn a language. I mean, that's a whole other can of worms. Look up second language acquisition theory. I'm telling you, please, you will thank me. But within your chosen methodology, do the thing that works for you. That is the true secret to succeeding at learning any language. There is no cookie cutter, one way fits all method. I am very sorry. You have to find your perfect method. You have to trial and error. You have to shop around and look broadly. You know, I mean, I do follow the whole like immersion thing, but I don't just look at language learning advice from people who are really into immersion. I look at all kinds of language advice, and I look at whether or not it fits within my philosophy of language learning, or simply whether or not it's something that sounds like fun and I would like to try. You have to, I'm sorry, you have to build it your own. It's a Lego thing. It's basically Lego or a puzzle, I don't know, or cooking. Any analogy you find useful, use it. But you're gonna have to have some trial and error. And the most important thing is just look at a bunch of methods, pick a method that seems like fun to you, and start. Go, do your language thing, right? Start learning, and while you are learning, keep looking at language advice and keep doing your homework, basically. Do a little bit of research and all of that kind of stuff. Keep on the ball and change and mold your method along the way until it works. And that's how you learn language. I have some more slightly bad news, by the way. Unfortunately, you may have to change your method with every language that you learn. Because some things work for some languages that don't work at all for others. So that's a little bit of a caveat also. But once you have kind of established your groundwork, your structure, so to speak, it's easier to make adjustments in various languages, right? You will very quickly find out what works and what doesn't work. And maybe some things that are completely new that require a whole new section of your method to be changed. Say, if you have to learn a very complex writing system, like in Japanese or Chinese, like learning to read is a lot more difficult and kind of requires a whole other section of research and finding a good method to do it. So yeah, that is you're welcome. This is the secret to learning any language. Any questions? Okay, bye. But let me give you some more concrete examples. I have to remind myself to breathe. But let me give you some concrete examples using myself as, you know, an example. Wow, Jill, that was a beautiful, beautiful sentence. What do I want to say? But let me give you a little bit of how many times am I going to have to say this sentence again?